let's go straight into it. You sent me this earlier today.
I think listen, our audience, a lot of you have already seen this, but we need to talk about it, okay?
Yeah, I think some people probably have not heard.
Some people haven't.
They probably suspected this was coming, but it's been confirmed. In fact, on that video I was talking about that I did earlier today, I showed you some video of some people last night on the streets outside of a hospital, pallets of bricks sitting outside the hospital in Chicago. But pallets of bricks have been delivered ahead of the Chicago DNC, which begins tonight. Antifa is preparing for a summer of rage. Suspicious deliveries of bricks have been reported in multiple locations across Chicago as the city braces for the Democratic National Convention. Hell Week concerns mount as residents and officials recall similar tactics used by Antifa in past protests that erupted into widespread violence. So as the Democratic National Convention approaches, Chicago has noticed a concerning trend that has raised alarms among residents and law enforcement. As we said, pallets of bricks spread out throughout the city. And the essence of these bricks is not as isolated incident, but a strategy, as a well-known history.
Absolutely.
And of course, we remember the summer of 2020.
Yes.
The riots that happened all over the country. And, you know, there's just, lo and behold, just magically there appeared bricks on the side of the street where there was no construction. It happened in Minneapolis, New York, Portland. It happened in Birmingham.
Yes.
We had pallets of bricks that were dropped off in Birmingham. And
ended up being very convenient for certain people.
Yes, so this is skids of bricks already delivered near the DNC.
I've heard hundreds of pallets. Is this what you're hearing in this? Does this article confirm that number?
Well, I mean, I think it says a number, but if you talk about all over the city and you look at this one here, that's
so. How many do you imagine being? Do they call these cubes?
I would say pallets.
How many do you imagine being in one of those?
Oh, I don't know. You look at that right there. That's
we're talking thousands.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Overall, thousands and thousands.
Yeah. When you're spreading across the city, it's thousands.
And I don't think that this article touches on it. But what about that company that is providing the OSB or the plywood to board up the windows with their name stamped on the wood? And what is it? What was it called?
Chicago Boarding Company.
I said, wow, this is telling. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I showed that as well today on that program, that it's something where you can call a number and say, look, we literally are in business to do nothing but board you up.
Right.
And let's think about the comparison.
And how smart of them to stamp the name of their business on the OSB or the plywood so that you'll know exactly where it came from. And if you ever have a future incident, just call this number. Yeah.
Hey, capitalism is at its best
at
right
its
there.
Best.
That was at its best.
Yeah.
And, you know, let's just compare and contrast here. This is not a Republicans, angels, Democrats, devils. That's not what I'm saying. But when you look at Wisconsin, when the Republicans had their convention, there is multiple reports, even though it's a liberal city, they're very thankful for that convention because it was a financial boon to that city. And
much like when a big festival, concert, or expo or event comes to town and you rent out hotel rooms, you rent cars, people go to restaurants and so on and so forth.
Yes.
And you don't have to worry about major destruction or a crime spree. And again, we're not picking on, we're just stating what is going on.
So you look at, people are excited, their businesses are open, they're making money, and then in Chicago, if you're a business owner in downtown Chicago, especially around the United Center,
you ordered lumber 3 weeks ago so you could board your business up so that your windows were not all broken out.
Yeah, number one, you're trying to still have a business left over when this is over. But number two, think about the money that you're losing that you could have been making.
Oh, yes.
But you're out of business. You have to shut down shop and go home. And that's what's disgusting is that these people that they call it Hell Week, they're going to come here. They're thousands and thousands and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands coming from. I reported earlier that over 60% of the Antifa that's on the ground is not from America. They're literally from
not
out
even
of the country.
From this country.
Not even from the country.
I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't from the area or even
not
the
even
state.
The country.
But the country.
Well, I mean, they're not native to this country, is what I mean.
Thank you, scripture reference. They said some of these windows cost $40,000 and $50,000.
That's unreal. That's unreal. Unbelievable.
You know, here's my concern. So these people have taken care and caution to go ahead and board the windows and secure their buildings beforehand.
Right.
God forbid fire should break out.
Right.
That'd be a whole other situation.
Yeah.
We can be assured there's probably going to be elevated crime.
Oh, no doubt. And I promise you, whether they're able to accomplish it or not, part of the agenda is fire. That is part of the agenda because they want the city burning. Because it's not about them there trying to help a Democrat or help a Republican. It's about causing chaos to bring down this nation.
You get maximum impact. And it's true. If it bleeds, it leads in the news. And hey, let's just have some fun with this thing.
Yep. Oh, what a statement. If it bleeds, it leads. Now, y'all remember this group here, Code Pink? Remember them? I won't describe what they wore on their heads, but I think y'all remember that when they did their Women's March.
Not one of our finest moments.
One of the finest moments. But, that's women, wearing those pink hats, and they don't even know what a woman is. But here we are again. Code Pink is still in business, y'all. I don't know if you knew that. But this is the founder of Code Pink in the airport. Far-left activist Medea Benjamin just posted on TikTok that her hat comrades are on their way to Chicago to bring the protest inside the convention hall.
Of course.
Now, let's listen to what she has to say.
We're on our way from Washington, D.C. to Chicago to protest the Democratic National Convention. Some of us will be in the streets. Hopefully there'll be protests on the inside as well. No matter what you think of Kamala Harris or how afraid you are of a Trump victory, what we have to do is...
Did she just mispronounce her name? That is considered a no-no. I cannot believe she just...
I think you're the one that mispronounces.
Is it Kamala? I thought it was Kamala.
I think it's Kamala.
I don't think so. I think it's Kamala.
I
think it's Kamala.
Okay.
I think it's Kamala. I think she just...
All I know is Joe's wife got really upset one morning. She said, I'm sick of everybody not pronouncing her name correctly.
We're going to have to look it up because I think I've heard it pronounced.
Israeli genocide. Instead, what we want is support for a free Palestine.
All right, so
we're on our way.
Just before we went on the air, I was watching some news coverage, and let's get this: to get in the Democratic National Convention inside the hall.
I don't even want to know.
There are. Listen to this.
Kamala. Thank you, Billy Mitchell.
Well, you don't just because you read it, that don't mean you're pronouncing
Billy
it right.
Billy knows things.
Look, Kamala. That's how you say it, Kamala. It's Kamala.
She says Kamalug.
Sandy.
That's what she said.
Well, you don't have to read it, Sandy.
They can all
Julia
read it.
A., we love you.
And Billy knows stuff.
Stop. Listen, I'm trying to tell you something.
I'm Team Billy.
All right. To get in the convention center, you have to show ID, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5. There are 8 security points. Me. 8 different ways.
The airport is not even that bad.
Yeah, and think about this. Everybody that's on the floor of the Democratic National Convention do not want you to have to show an ID to vote. But right. You and no walls, no security. They got the whole place walled in, so you can't get in there, and you got to go through 8 security checkpoints where you must show an ID.
This is crazy.
To get inside a place that's going to put in their platform, which we're going to show you in just a minute. They want to pass something where it is illegal in the platform, illegal to ask for ID to vote. And they want to automatically give driver's license and IDs to illegal immigrants. So I mean, you talk about hypocrisy.
Exactly. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, look, here we go, y'all. Here we go. Hey, let's take a moment real quick now, Sandy, before we get into this.
You guys want me to get serious? I'll refuse to do that.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not going to do it. And give me some more of this coffee.
Okay. You're in rare form tonight,
I may
y'all.
need a double shot espresso by the time this night's over with.
Yeah, I hear you. Mm-hmm. So, look, we want to tell you real quick, we'll do this real fast, get right back in the news, is, as you know, Thursday nights are changing starting in September. The Kingdom Intelligence Report has been a tremendous blessing to us in having our regular 4 guests. Beginning in September, Thursdays is going to be a news/topic-driven night. So we're going to shoot for tonight. We're not promising anything, and we're going to just whatever happens, happens. But on Monday nights, we're going to start shooting for an hour to an hour and 15 minutes instead of 2 hours. And it may end up going like an hour and a half. We're going to try to stay back around that hour 15, hour and a half. And then on Thursday nights, you can come back on Thursday nights, and if there's breaking news, we'll have breaking news just like we do here every Monday night, as well as guests and topic-driven things. So I want to give you a heads up on that. What do you think about that?
I'm going to be anxious to see if that actually can happen.
Okay. All right. So let's see if we can get it under 2 hours tonight. The Democrats released their party platform. And y'all, if you needed more evidence that this was a coup and that man on the left there, standing next to the woman on the right, I'm not going to say anything else other than that, which is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Kamala, I don't know. I think it's Kamala. We're going to figure this out. We're going to figure this out because we want to be respectful. They released their platform, Sandy, today, and guess what? They didn't even have time to take out all the references to President Joe Biden and his second term. In multiple times in the reading of this today, as late as today, it talks about the second term and why Joe Biden has to finish the job. He's still in there. They didn't even have time to update it for Ms. Harris. The Democratic Party released its official platform on Sunday night to be voted on at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, and it calls for re-electing President Joe Biden in the platform that they voted for last night, who was still the candidate at the time the document was finalized in mid-July. President Biden, Vice President Harris, and Democrats are running to finish the job. The Democratic platform that is the platform of the DNC that starts tonight was voted on last night, and it had not even been changed.
With all of these folks running around, could we not have put one person in charge of that?
Exactly.
Really?
And watch this. This is going to be the most woke convention in history. The platform begins with a, quote, land acknowledgement.
What?
A land acknowledgement will begin tonight, maybe even as I'm speaking right now. It will begin with a land acknowledgement declaring that the convention is being held on lands once belonging to Native Americans.
This makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So this is how it's going to begin. Okay. We're acknowledging that we're on stolen land or whatever.
Okay.
Let me finish this, and you have that point.
Okay.
This is a left-wing practice that the Wall Street Journal noted last weekend is central to the ideology behind campus anti-Israel protests. The claim that the United States and Israel are guilty of settler colonialism. This also, quote, means rejecting the understanding of American history that has been mainstream since the mid-20th century, that it is a story of slow progress towards fulfilling the nation's founding promise of freedom for all. So basically, this is red meat to the protesters outside saying, yes, we understand we are colonial, just like Israel occupiers, we're occupiers. Mm-hmm. So before we begin all the things we want to do, we want to apologize and acknowledge that we have the land that we stand upon was stolen, and all this kind of stuff. And then we can go into what that really means and so forth. But that is just talk. Mm-hmm. They don't care about that.
No.
Now, what were you going to say?
Okay, so obviously those are talking points and trigger points, and I can see where they're going with that agenda. But when you said that, I did not realize. I always wonder why certain events take place at certain locations. So if that was former Native American land, often Native Americans settled on highly magnetic,
yeah,
highly sensitive areas of land where maybe more spiritual activity took place. Because Native Americans as a people, they are very spiritual usually.
Yeah.
Sometimes not in a good way, not in the positive way that we would hope. But I could see them wanting to be on a piece of property in a location that is more spiritually heightened.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's
where
I'm going with this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, some people might say, well, the whole place could be called that. But I do believe you're right. I believe that there's so many things. We talked about this. So many things are convening in Chicago.
Yes.
And I do not think it is by chance that all of the similarities in 1968 are happening again in 2024.
Right.
And
you talked about cycles today. I'm sure
Yes.
you talked about cycles several days ago when you did that other program. And yes, we are turning this news program into a paranormal.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. But listen, he brought that up. I did not realize that was in this article, that particular part. And, I can't stay away from that kind of stuff. So
And
I have to
in
say
1968, that's where the convention was.
Yes.
And what we're talking about right
all
now,
these
that's happening.
cyclical things.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Now, speaking of the platform, it omits some of Harris's recent economic proposals. They didn't even have time to even put it in there, such as the taxpayer-funded. Get this now.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you have loved to have had this?
Oh, yeah. Brace yourself.
$25,000 down payment for first-time home
Those of you
buyers.
who have not heard this,
Yeah.
$25,000 down payment. Wouldn't you
Tax dollars.
Wouldn't you love to be that next guy or that other person who didn't get that? Wouldn't you love how this is going to come into your neighborhood and affect all of the surrounding homes and everybody that's going to try to do something? This is not ultimately going to be good.
Right.
This is not going to ultimately help.
It does include the rhetoric claiming without evidence that companies are guilty of price gouging. A claim that's central to Harris's demand for socialist-style price caps to fight inflation. The platform makes a number of misleading claims, including the claim that the United States is finally rebuilding broadband as part of the administration's investment in infrastructure, despite, listen to this, a $42.5 billion fund for expanding broadband under the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, which Harris was meant to supervise. Not one new connection has been built.
Oh, my goodness.
Out of $42.5 billion investment, not one connection.
You're talking about since 2021?
Since 2021.
Your tax dollars at work, folks.
So that's what's going on there with the platform. And then we continue to say that what is in the platform. And y'all, this right here is just infuriating. And I guarantee you they will not be mentioned publicly. This was in the platform. This is the actual document. You can go to X and you can download it anywhere and read the actual long document that is called the Democratic National Committee's platform. In the platform, multiple things are regarding illegal immigrants. It pledges to pass what's called the U.S. Citizenship Act. What is it? It's the most radical amnesty bill ever written. Amnesty for human traffickers and gang members, no welfare restrictions for migrants, lets those that are being deported return and worse.
Can you go back up? Did you say amnesty for human traffickers?
Amnesty for anyone that desires it, that has come across. But basically what I'm saying is if you were arrested for human trafficking, you have the right to have amnesty. It is insane. I have read some of this document. It's crazy.
Wow.
Amnesty, I'm going to go down to some of the high points that this guy, Rob Law, talks about. Amnesty for all illegal aliens who have invaded our country, including those who impermissibly use taxpayer-funded welfare and unlawfully voted in U.S. elections.
How did that even happen in the first place?
Exactly. But it's happening.
Yeah.
Waivers to amnesty convicted illegal alien criminals, vile human traffickers, and other public safety threats. Waivers for nearly all grounds of inadmissibility. If that's not bad enough, it immediately issues Social Security numbers to all illegal aliens. There will be no vetting, and this gets them driver's license and voter registration. And everything he's saying, he shows the actual documentation of the platform. And The bill even requires taxpayers to pay for previously deported illegal aliens to be brought back to get amnesty.
Wow.
This radical bill rewards illegal aliens and traffickers while putting Americans last.
All right, let's just that one point
In
about
the platform.
bringing previously deported. So did Donald Trump not say he would be sending people back?
Oh, yeah. He was the largest mass deportation in history is what he says, whether he can do it or not.
Exactly. That kind of shook me because I was like, oh, that's such strong language, and how could you possibly do that anyway? But look at how diametrically opposed they are just on that one point.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are multiple others. Thank goodness, because we definitely lean to the conservative side and trying to maintain as much of our sovereignty in this country as we can.
Well, it's one thing to give amnesty, and it's sickening to give amnesty to illegal aliens that are here
How about
anyway.
people who are fleeing? We have many people who have come from many countries who are fleeing persecution. Okay, we get that.
But time out. They all say that. So we don't know who really is and who really isn't.
I'm talking about mainly in years past when there were wars and different things going on in different countries. But yes, of course, that's being used and abused now. And of course, things are out of control. And when you come up with a document, you're going to create a document legalizing this and going further than anyone has ever gone before.
Yeah. And it's one thing to give amnesty to those that are here illegally, but to put in your platform that we're going to go get the ones that's been deported, bring them back so they can get amnesty.
Listen, this trafficking thing that was put in there, what a slap in the face of people who have been targeted, who have been used and abused, and who have been funneled through these sex trafficking and child trafficking rings.
Yes.
What in the world?
Exactly. And it's called the U.S. Citizenship Act. What about the citizens?
What about the citizens?
What about the citizens? Mm-hmm. What about the ones that did it the right way?
Exactly.
That took them years and they learned the culture and they learned the patriotic, they become patriots of the country and they can say the Pledge of Allegiance. They put their hand over because they love their country and they did it the right way and they're proud Americans now. America is a country of immigrants, and it needs to never stop being that. But you have to do it legally. And we have a Democratic National Convention that is beginning tonight that is dead set on filling up the voter rolls. I mean, you're talking about not only are they giving amnesty to they somehow voted illegally. How in the world they did that anyway? That's because of lack of identification.
Come on.
But now you're going to just amnesty to everybody and then immediately give them Social Security numbers, give them driver's licenses, and register them to vote.
Yes.
I mean, what is all this about? It's all about assuring a voting bloc that gets around the Electoral College. The Electoral College was, by the way, we are not a democracy. Can I say that clearly right now? I am so sick of hearing people say, vote in November to save democracy. Mm-hmm. We are not a democracy. Yep. We are a constitutional republic.
Yep.
If we were a democracy, that would be mob rule.
Yep.
And so you're talking about a few cities would run everything. Now, if you bring in millions of illegal immigrants and 90% of them, just for the sake of thank you for letting me come in, we're going to vote for you. And you don't have to worry about the Electoral College because you can spread them out across every state, and it turns the Electoral College. That's what this is all about.
You know, here we are more conservative leaning, and we are reading, and we are talking about this document. How many actual Democrats even know that this exists?
Exactly.
If they could read and understand what is in this, how would they really feel about it? Surely they wouldn't look at this, process it, and say, yeah, I'm down, let's do it. Let's do all of this.
Right. No, they would not.
Surely they wouldn't.
Well, some of them would, but most of them would not.
I believe most of them would not. But how many of them even know?
They don't know because most of the people that's in that room tonight, and most of the people that are watching that are diehard Democrats, they're just excited about joy.
They're hyped up.
They're just excited about, finesse. They're excited about just momentum and all this.
The number one thing they're excited about is that
they hate Donald Trump.
Exactly. That this is the opposite of Orange Man.
Yeah, opposite of Orange. Orange Man bad. Orange Man bad. Anyone else good.
Yeah.
Well, but while that's happening, there's a world that's at war.
Yep.
And we're getting closer and closer to World War III. So just keep that in mind when you hear all this stuff this week. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about from both sides.
Right.
Both sides, they're all about themselves. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let me just tell you something. Republican and Democrat. Sure. I tell my church all the time, I promise you this, when it's all said and done, I don't care if they're an elephant or a donkey. Mm-hmm. They don't really care about what's happening in your house. You're going to have to take care of your house. Yes. And you got to protect your family, and you got to provide for your family. Yes. And by the way, you better know your heart's right with God.
Absolutely.
Just so you know. Blinken.
And let's just say this before we get into this article. The buildup in the Middle East is still going on.
It's still going on. Right now.
Nothing's calmed down. Nothing's subsided. We're still sending ships and troops and who knows what else. And not just us. I'm sure other countries are as well. So this is just because it may not be blasted in the news or you're not seeing or hearing this every day. This is still going on.
It is still going on. And so today, Antony Blinken is in the Middle East, and he announces that once again, Israel has accepted the latest ceasefire proposal. By the way, for those that are Free Palestine, let me just tell you that almost every ceasefire proposal that's been given, Israel has accepted it. The one that has not accepted it is Hamas. And it continues. Secretary Antony Blinken on Monday announced that Israel had accepted the final bridging proposal for the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas, but the terrorist organization still needs to accept it. Negotiators, including the United States, have been working on a 6-week ceasefire agreement that would pause the war temporarily to allow for an exchange of prisoners on both sides and more humanitarian aid to get to the Gaza Strip. Blinken, who is currently in Jerusalem to help get the agreement over the finish line, urged Hamas to accept the proposal. In a very constructive meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today, he confirmed to me that Israel accepts the bridging proposal and that he supports it. It's now incumbent upon Hamas to do the same. We'll see what's happening, but I'm going to just tell you, they don't want peace, and there's no desire for a two-state solution. Mm-mm. Can I tell you the only party, the only country in the Middle East that has ever legitimately put a two-state proposal on the table? Do you know who it is? Israel.
Sure.
They're the only one. They were twice, 2 or 3 times, they have proposed it. The enemies of Israel do not want a two-state solution. They want a one-state solution, and that one state is Palestine, and they want to eliminate
there you go.
Israel.
Yep. And everyone surrounding them as well wants the same thing.
Now, here's something, Sandy, that we're going to have to go down this rabbit hole with this one here. Because tonight, do you know who's speaking tonight? The keynote speaker tonight is none other than the current president, Joe Biden. Now, I say that to then read this article, and then I want to ask a question. This was Dateline today, last week. So last week, the U.S. accelerates military deployment to region amid reports Iran may attack within days. But this is the part that I want to read to you. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin orders USS Abraham Lincoln strike group to quicken transit to Middle East and deploys guided missile submarine, says Pentagon. The U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has ordered the deployment of the guided missile submarine to the Middle East amid escalating tensions in the region, the Pentagon said. Austin also ordered the USS Abraham Lincoln strike group equipped with F-35 fighters to accelerate its deployment to the Middle East, the Pentagon, and in a statement, said in the statement, the move comes as the U.S. and other allies push for Israel and Hamas to reach a ceasefire deal that could calm the region's tensions. Now, here's what I want to say. It is being reported by multiple news organizations and even those that we trust, that at this time, at this very moment that I speak, at least 1/3 or more of all naval ships, men and women, and military equipment is in the Middle East. 1/3.
What?
1/3 of all naval ships and planes and people is in the Middle East right now.
My goodness.
We have not seen Joe Biden anytime, anywhere, except for a brief few minutes where he would say something.
Mm-hmm.
He is cognitively not there.
Well, he was sleeping on the beach just a few days ago.
Sleeping on the beach.
Probably having ice cream.
Having ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
He is going to speak tonight probably. My prediction is it's probably going to be about
4 minutes.
No, I think he'll make about 15 minutes, maybe 20.
I will be shocked if he goes
because
a full 15
he'll have a
minutes.
teleprompter and they'll have him hyped up. But here's the thing: he is not running. He is not.
No.
He is not in charge of the military. He is not the commander in chief.
No.
So you have the Pentagon. You have Blinken.
Yeah.
You have, I'm having brain freeze. What's his name again?
Lloyd Austin.
You have Lloyd Austin sending, our military commanders have sent 1/3 of our Navy to the Middle East. We have deployed nuclear submarines.
Yep.
Do you think Joe Biden did that?
No. No.
Then who is in charge?
Believe that Valerie Jarrett did it from down the street at Obama's house
That might get you in trouble.
than that Joe Biden actually approved of this with his own cabinet. Because, come on, this is highly technical. We're talking about big maneuvers here. And to hear you say that, a full 1/3?
1/3 of the naval ships.
What
are
is getting ready to... You do not move that many men and pieces of equipment if there is not a large-scale plan.
Exactly. Not to mention, nobody is talking about Taiwan.
No. Not a
I
word.
mean, when has anybody heard anybody say anything about Taiwan? And we have reported here on the big picture that Xi Jinping said, he literally said last year, we were reporting June and July of last year, that he was going to wait. Listen to this. Go back and find the video. The receipts are there. We said it. Xi Jinping said, we are going to wait till the summer of 24 when we know that the United States will be engulfed in chaos of elections and distractions. And if there's any time we're going to take Taiwan, it's going to be now. Is that the October surprise? Are they waiting until October? Are they what? I'm telling you, mark my words. I hope I'm wrong, but you need to be looking out. While all eyes, 1/3 of the military is in the Middle East, that would be the perfect time for Xi Jinping to say, well, they're over there. They could get to us quick, but we got a window now. Yeah. I'm telling you, do not sleep on China invading Taiwan before November.
Not at all. It's amazing to me to think back to 8 and 12 months ago, even less than that, everything that has happened. I mean, we were talking about, get ready for 2024. What's going to happen? We have a big election. Everybody put your seatbelts on. We're obviously here. Going back, how many weeks has it even been since the assassination attempt? And then all of
just like 5 weeks.
I mean, it's just insane.
Not even that long. It's not been that long.
It's only been 1 month
since he stepped down.
Right. Exactly.
Crazy.
Let
me tell you something else that's crazy.
We talk about acceleration and speed of events, but we are seeing it every week.
When I tell you what's about to happen, when I tell you what is going on in the UK and in Europe, it's going to blow your mind.
I think, guys, if you are just haphazardly listening, please pay attention because we've talked about this, you've touched on this before, but this is a real thing that is happening. And typically, what happens in Europe, it'll happen in Europe first, then it heads our way.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you about a man that's going to prison for 3 years simply because of a post that he made on X in 30 seconds. Be right back.
Would you like to help us build the big picture family? We're on a mission to wake up the world to what is really going on. All you have to do is go to our website at LarryRagland.com and make a one-time gift, or you can become a monthly partner. Any amount is a blessing and an encouragement to us. While you're there, make sure you get a copy of our book, I See Greatness in You. Browse our merchandise store, connect with us on our social media links, and join our mailing list. We appreciate it. And remember, we ain't woke, but we are certainly awake.
We are certainly awake. Yes, yes, yes. Go visit our website. We'd appreciate that very much. But let me show you this right here. The United Kingdom is arresting people, Sandy, for what they posted on social media.
Right.
This man is literally going to prison. He's called Keyboard Warrior for 3 years over what he posted on X. Unbelievable. A so-called keyboard warrior has been jailed in Britain for 3 years over a post he made on the social media platform X. Wayne O'Rourke, 35, 3 years in prison for, quote, stirring up racial hatred during the recent anti-migration protests and riots. According to local Lincolnshire Free Press, O'Rourke had shared false information about the Southport mass stabbing attack that left 3 young girls unalived, suggesting that the unaliver had been a Muslim or an illegal migrant, neither of which were true. O'Rourke gave his 90,000 followers advice on how to remain anonymous during protests, something left-wing activist groups often tell their followers ahead of contentious protests. Passing sentence, Judge Katarina Knight accused O'Rourke of instigating the riots through his social media protests, saying, the flames fanned by keyboard warriors like you.
Whoa.
Not like the migrants that were taking over the city and burning things to the ground.
Not the guilty party, not the suspects. No.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely against people sharing false information.
Of course.
But you know, he was responding to what most people in the United Kingdom are very, very frustrated about, and that is illegal immigration,
right?
And their streets being taken over and being forced, some of the different sections of cities operating basically under Sharia law.
Right.
And so he comes out and he says some things. I'm not okaying what he did.
No.
But 3 years, y'all, we've been trying to tell you, and we ain't the only ones. I think most people that watched this knew this was coming. But for 3 years, we've been telling you that this kind of censorship is coming, and it's coming to this program as well. We're already starting to see some pushback on it as well. But I'm telling you right now, what's happening in the United Kingdom right now, putting people in jail, is what they want to do in this country and every country that you're watching us in.
Did they apply the misinformation and disinformation to this event?
Yes, of course they did.
I read that somewhere.
Which remember who said that? Who said it was the number one enemy? Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Remember when
Our
the world
friends, those weffers.
Those weffers, the World Economic Forum.
Weffers and heifers.
Those weffers and heifers, you heard it here first.
Yep.
Copyright, Sandy Ragland.
They told us this.
They told us.
And we laughed and we thought, you know, that just sounds ridiculous, all the while kind of having a sense of dread, you know, down under. But this is the first instance that I can think of where this was cited in, you know, relation to, I hate to even call this a crime. It's not a crime.
No.
I guess we can call it an event. But they are literally using this misinformation and disinformation platform.
Yeah, and what we're referring to is the World Economic Forum said at their last meeting, just in Davos, this previous meeting, they always give the top 10 threats to world peace and world unity and all this. For the first time ever, they gave two. They gave two lists. They gave the top 10 or the top 5 or whatever over the next 10 years, and then they said, and always number one is climate. Always.
Oh, yes.
It's always number one.
And you never thought you would see that shift, right?
Right.
You thought that was just going to stand.
Until this one, and they said, we got a separate list for the next 2 years. And number one, it's not climate, it's misinformation and disinformation. is the number one threat to world peace and to life in general. Misinformation and disinformation for the next 2 years is the number one threat to humanity. And here we see them expediting that, what the World Economic Forum said.
You got it.
I mean, they are literally the kingmakers and the narrative makers of the world. This little ski resort upon this mountain in Davos, Switzerland is running the world.
Looks so innocent and innocuous, right?
Exactly.
They must be doing all that evil planning underground. I don't know. But it is evil, wherever they're doing it.
It is. And how about this one? Has anybody heard about this? While all this is going on, active shooters
there you go.
Stormed a military base
listen,
in San Antonio.
We have a lot of military families on here. I want to hear you guys speaking up and speaking out about this particular news article because I was looking for this. It took me until today to find this, and I'm like, we have to talk about this tonight.
Yeah, well, let's listen to the local news person here. And I don't know what goes on with their video, X videos. It's not up to par. You come on, Elon, you got to do better.
Just into our newsroom, active shooters reported at the gates of Joint Base San Antonio Lackland early this morning. JBSA officials say security forces returned fire to active shooters. It all happened around 4:30 at the main entry gate at the Chapman Training Annex. JBSA officials did not say if anyone was hurt or how many shooters targeted the base. They did tell us the shooters are not known to have a military affiliation. The gate to the training annex is currently closed. All traffic is being redirected to an entry point north on Ray Ellison Boulevard. Just into our newsroom.
Wow.
How crazy.
Active shooter near Joint Base in San Antonio, Texas. How is this not all over the news?
Exactly.
Is insane.
What in the world?
Unbelievable.
I mean, let's go back, I don't know how many months ago, to people, we don't know who, but somebody breaking through gates to attack the electrical substations.
Exactly.
Let's look at all the hacks from hospitals to corporations trying to steal your personal information. Let's look at all the attempted attacks on water treatment plants. All of these things that are going on. While we sit here and say, oh, you guys are just fear porn. Mm-hmm. There's no World War III.
Right.
There's no secret attacks. There's no rising up trying to come in. It's already, what else has to happen for some of you to wake up and to understand we're under attack? We're so dumbed down and numbed, we cannot even make a list and make an account of all the thing after thing after thing that is happening to us.
Exactly. I mean, and this is case in point. While we are being distracted by, who's having a political rally there and who said this on the street and where the bus is. That's exactly
what they want.
That's what they want. We're being distracted by ice cream and who stopped here and got a hamburger. What flavor did you get? And we're shouting out, what flavor did you get? And all that kind of stuff while the world is on fire.
Come on.
And our military bases are being invaded. As you just said, our substations are being attacked. Who knows what's happened on, we've reported here that water dams have had penetration where people have tried to come across security. There is so many things. And then we have the border where we are being invaded by countries, over 70-something, what is it, 80 known countries?
No, it's over 140 different countries. That people are coming here from.
And not to mention.
And guess what? If you even have half an interest, there's ways for you to find out hacks of how to do it, how to get here quicker, how to get here easier.
Right. And we have arrested multiple known terrorists on the watch list coming across our border. They can't get on a plane, but they know now, forget the plane. I'm on a terror watch list on the plane. I'll just need to fly on a plane or get somewhere in a boat and get to Mexico, and I can just walk across and I'll get across. I am literally on the terrorist most wanted list, but I'll walk across the border.
Yeah.
And we're being invaded.
And it's ridiculous. I'm from here. And I go to a mission trip in Mexico.
Listen to this.
And it takes me an hour.
Yeah.
I'm at the border. It's an hour to just get through, like a mile and a half to get back into my country.
And she's an American. Y'all, when are you going to say enough is enough? When are you going to stop scrolling through TikTok and watching cat videos and all this? I'm not against you like cat videos, okay?
Right.
I love cat videos too. But I'm just telling you, it's all part of the programming to distract you from what the real agenda is.
Listen,
this is 1984.
I want to be balanced and I want to temper my words. But look, maybe we're even part of the problem here. This is an invasion.
It is.
We're really being invaded, okay?
Yep.
We are for legal immigration.
Yes.
We are for
absolutely
keeping that as, a possibility for some. But we cannot absorb this many people at one time, and nobody knows who they are, where they are, or what their intentions are. Maybe some of these things that we are experiencing are a direct result of some of the immigrants that are coming here. BP Earthwatch is in the house.
That's what I was about to say. I want to acknowledge BP Earthwatch, one of the greatest channels out there.
And hey, Radio Face too.
Appreciate all the hard work.
Hey,
I've noticed.
BP, I've been listening to you for years.
Yes. My wife first told me about you. You was one of the first ones she told me about when she was listening to.
I tried to help the man, BP.
Yep.
I'm working on him for years.
We're so honored to have you in the house, and honored that you've been in several of our programs and comment and getting in the live chat. I know it's a blessing to a lot of people. So thank you. Well, the World Health Organization, Sandy, right on cue, has urging countries to enhance the pandemic preparedness and produce new vaccines. The new pandemic is a matter of when, not if. We've been telling you about that. So there again, we go back to what we're talking about. Is all this is the distractions. And while nobody's looking, they're bringing back the pandemic treaty again for a third vote. They're enforcing, let's just go ahead and rapid fire this next one here, is that Canada warns residents to prepare for hypothetical virus that would be worse than wah-wah, a return to lockdowns. The Canadian government has issued warnings to their citizens to prepare because this virus is coming and it will lead to food and fuel disruptions. So and then right on top of that, right on cue, the EU is saying it's time for up to 5 countries, I believe, to start testing their digital. Here it is right here. 5 countries will be testing Europe's vaccination card.
All right, tell us what those countries are because I have not heard this one.
5 European countries are set to pilot the newly developed European vaccination card next month. September pilot program makes a step towards a continent-wide rollout of the card, according to this website called Vaccines Today. Belgium, Greece, Germany, Latvia, and Portugal will be testing the new card in various variety of formats, including printed cards, mailed copies, and digital versions on their smartphones.
Please let this article tell us exactly when and where this card needs to be presented and what it needs to be used for.
And our screens just locked up. At the moment I said that, our screens that we look at just locked up.
So while you're working on this, let me just sound off. So we've been hearing about bird flu for weeks. Really months, right?
Yep.
And it kind of gains a little ground and then it just kind of goes back down. Then how many weeks would you say we've been talking about Mpox again?
Yep.
3?
Yep.
4? I don't know.
And it's supposedly blowing up and they're already got the wah-wah ready for it.
The wah-wah. In the meantime, the original wah-wah that starts with the letter C seems like it's gaining ground again. I'm hearing people I know that are testing positive with that right now. So I'm anxious to see which one of these is going to take the lead. I feel like it's one of the first 2 that we just talked about, but it's always the mind games with these people, right?
Yes.
You're always trying to figure out what the game is, where this is going, where are we going to ultimately end up. So here we are, end of summer, about to head into fall in several weeks.
Yep.
And we were talking about this earlier. I think you probably talked about it on your show that you did recently, that they're already testing the sewage in certain cities.
San Francisco, they've already found it in the wastewater in San Francisco, the MPOX.
Right. So
think about that and wonder why it's there first.
Exactly. Well, according to the history of that disease, it's prominent among certain sectors of society, right?
Right.
And San Francisco is a city with a certain disposition or background, demographic.
Yes.
So you can kind of figure that out. But where's this going?
Yeah, where's
all this going?
Well, I think we know where one of the places is going, and that's the narrative of the World Economic Forum, because we are literally playing into everything that they have told us would happen. It is Agenda 2030 is coming rapidly. We started telling you a year ago when you started counting down 6 years, 7 years away, and all of this. We are in 2024. And by the way, blink our eyes, we'll be in 2025.
Yes.
Agenda 2030 is coming rapidly. The 17 sustainable goals of Agenda 2030 are frightening. We keep hearing about Project 2025. We start all this kind of stuff that Trump has distanced himself from and all of this, which, by the way, go read the thing. It's like 900 pages or something like that. I'm exaggerating. But there's a lot of stuff in there I agree with. Some of the stuff I think is crazy. When I say crazy, maybe crazy to think it could ever happen. I should say that. But they are pushing that. They're pushing that. I don't know if you even saw it, but in Trump Tower in Chicago, they projected it by laser up on the Trump Tower saying Project 2025 headquarters. And Trump has already sued them for false advertisement, all that kind of stuff. But what I'm trying to tell you is, you don't need to be worried about Project 2025. You need to be worried about Agenda 2030.
Yes.
Because Agenda 2030 is about total control of your life.
Yep.
By the way, we're going to keep looking at our cameras, even though our cameras have froze up. We can still see down here, but we won't look down here. We will look up here at you. But the moment I started talking about this, my computer started going crazy. So the devil is a lie.
You're on the list somewhere.
But I am definitely on a list. Let's see if this will fix it. All right, here we go. So four global risks to look at for the post-pandemic era. This come out today from the World Economic Forum. For today, 4 global risks to look out for the post-pandemic era. I'm telling you, the World Economic Forum is evil.
Gosh, they're so evil.
They are so evil. Number 1, power disperses in post-subpower era. Most citizens would agree that our community, our world leaders, including the G7 and G20, largely fell short in tackling the COVID-19 pandemic. Since the pandemic erased the reality, the reality is we haven't had enduring global leadership on much, and it's hard to imagine that changing soon. This is partly because superpowers are terribly burdened with global wars and domestic challenges.
Sure.
So they go on to say, number 2, a big election year won't stop our recurrent crisis of political legitimacy.
No, it won't stop it. It'll probably help it.
Exactly. Number 3, a more complex global mental health crisis is in place. That's another day for another topic. And then number 4, an era of shock events.
Oh, this one they love, right?
They love this. Make no mistake, the U.S.-driven post-Cold War era ended a while ago, and realistically, America's 2024 election won't change this. Enduring global leadership, democratic ideals, globalization, and liberal values have all been noticeably challenged and superpowers overstretched. So I'm showing you this to show you what they're putting out. This was this week. 3 ways the world can move from health crisis to care for all. This is what's coming out this week of all weeks of the World Economic Forum while the Democratic National Convention is happening.
Everybody's distracted, right?
Exactly.
Well, they're throwing those bricks over there in Chicago.
More than a half of the world's population, that's 4.5 billion people, according to the World Economic Forum, lack full access to health care, according to the WHO. Among them, 1.3 billion are being forced deeper into poverty and extreme poverty by financially devastating payments for health service.
Yep.
Efforts to ensure each of the world's 8 billion have health coverage have made little overall progress in recent years, according to the WHO. But organizations are determined to open up healthcare wider populations. I wanted to show you this because, Sandy, I want you to know what that is saying.
Yeah. Please break it down for us.
Global free healthcare.
At a price tag of?
You
Ding,
can't,
ding, ding.
I don't know, but watch this. You can't have global health care without a one world government.
Come on.
You can't have one world health care without one world government. And by the way, also a one world religion to push it. Where have I read about this?
I seem to have heard this before somewhere. Maybe
Things that make you go,
all the way back to the
Bible?
Anyone?
Anyone? Bible?
But yeah.
Not Bueller.
So here we are. They've got this thing figured out in every direction, don't they?
They do.
They've already, plans have been laid for years and decades, and they're just enacting them. And it's been happening slowly. But now it's speeding up at
Yes.
a breakneck speed that we, the common person, cannot keep up with all of
Say
this.
that.
We can't.
We can't. Do you know one of the things you can do to help us is smash that like button?
Yeah.
Smash it. Because when you smash that like button, it helps us with the glorious AI world out there that can just say, hey, people like this. People like this. Remember that? What's her name that was in Smokey and the Bandit, the actress, when she goes, people like me. They really like me. What's her name? What was her name?
Sally Field.
Sally Field. When she won her Oscar, she was like, you like me. You really like me. It's a great meme.
Babe, you might have had a little bit too much TV.
It's a great meme. So when you smash that like button, we can say, they like us. But the algorithm, more than anything, says they like them.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe, please. The World Bank is exploring wholesale and retail CBDC and faster payment systems. Which, by the way, do you know where the World Bank is located? Headquartered?
Switzerland?
Geneva, Switzerland. The same place where the World Health Organization is and the same place that Davos is. Just saying. It's a beautiful little ski resort nation.
Oh, yeah.
So innocent.
So dainty. So
the
lovely.
home of more underground bunkers than any nation in the world. The World Bank explains how instant transfer payment systems such as FedNow can be used to facilitate.
Oh, say that again.
The FedNow. Remember when we talked about FedNow?
That innocent little FedNow.
Remember when they said?
This is going to be awesome for you.
Remember,
we're doing this just for you.
The FedNow is from the federal, what do you call it, FTC? Not the FTC. Is that right?
FDIC?
No, the federal bank.
Oh,
okay. What was it called? You know, in America, I'm in a brain freeze here. I guess it's the Federal Reserve.
The Federal Reserve.
The Federal Reserve instituted the FedNow program on banking institutions. We covered it here, and we said here on this program, FedNow will be the seedbed for CBDC. But the Federal Reserve said, FedNow, they openly said, don't worry, FedNow is not CBDC. It has nothing to do with CBDC. Well, lo and behold, here we are, the World Bank, not our Federal Reserve, but the World Bank explains how instant payment systems such as FedNow can be used to facilitate CBDC. The World Bank recently performed some tests researching the uses of CBDC and digital money and their use in wholesale and retail settings. And they said it's predominantly used by central banks and financial institutions for interbank lending and transfers. Retail CBDC is stored in digital wallets and used by consumers for purchase of goods and services. On July 2nd, they published, the World Bank released its document called, well, what a name, Interoperability Between Central Bank Digital Currency Systems and Fast Payment Systems, a Technical Perspective, otherwise known as, we're going to control you, and you're going to love it.
I'm laughing again, and it's because I'm nervous and freaked out. So it's not because I think it's funny.
No. Central banks around the world are actively researching and investigating the benefits, challenges, and designs. And I'm just not going to read anymore because it's a bunch of hogwash. Because what it really means is we want to turn everything digital. And Sandy, help our new big picture family out there. If it's digital, it is
programmable.
And if it's programmable, it's controllable. Which means if you're not a good boy or a good girl, then guess what? No vacation money for you. No hospital money for you. No food money for you.
No airline ticket for you. No vacation for you. No new apartment rental for you.
Yep.
Yep.
It's like, remember the soup Nazi?
Yeah.
No soup for you.
No soup for you.
It would be, no groceries for you.
Yep.
Was that good? Did I do a good soup Nazi?
Need to work on it a little.
Okay. Wow. But you know what? We live in America, and I'm going to tell you right now, all this stuff is happening in the UK. We fought a war against them for our freedom. We love you. We love you, by the way. Yes. We got a lot of people that watch us from the UK and Britain. We love you, but y'all know our history. We wanted freedom. So I can tell you right now, according to our Constitution, America, we ain't ever going to have that kind of stuff in America. Yep. Well, I think America ain't America anymore. The Secretary of State of Michigan, Jocelyn Benson, is now encouraging residents to report neighbors for misinformation.
Is this how it started several decades ago in Germany?
This is how it started. Yep. Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson recently published a document encouraging Michiganders to snitch on each other if they suspect or see misinformation being spread, especially in the context of the upcoming election. The department published the accompanying document called Election Misinformation. I digressed back to the World Economic Forum. The number one enemy of humanity is misinformation.
Yeah, if you needed anybody to back you up and legitimize this, they've already laid that foundation.
They've already laid it.
It's already there.
It's already there. The act of spreading misinformation, quote unquote, about the election process, of voter rights, or even an issue of the ballot is a serious threat to election security. These efforts, be they foreign, domestic, partisan, or simply malicious, are designed to create mistrust in our elections process and are damaging to a healthy democracy. Can I translate that for you? Do not dare get online and question any election. If somebody's water line busts in the middle of the night and they have to call the counting off on November 5th and say, don't worry, we just had this happen, the power went out, whatever, we've secured everything, we'll start voting the moment the sun comes up in the morning. If you say anything about it, then that is misinformation.
Right.
And we just showed you what's happening in the UK. Dude's going to prison for 3 years because of what he shared on X. And I'm going to tell you something, that is coming to America and a nation near you.
Elise Ansel in chat is saying snitches get stitches. Okay? I think in this scenario, these are going to be rewarded in some way because they want you to tell on your neighbor and turn them in and give information about them. And they are going to try to find some way to reward you as an incentive, and so that others will want to do the same. That person who wants to be a snitch in their own way, they probably do need to watch their back because some people do not like to be messed with. And we can't speak to what somebody will do in retaliation. But as far as the ones that they're reporting to, this is exactly what they want to see happen. And they're going to try to reward people who do it so that it will continue.
So good, baby. So good. So spot on, too. Yeah. So that's First Amendment. We've prided ourselves as Americans as having the First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. That's under assault. But then we always come back. I love that comedian where it says, our founding fathers, he was being funny, but he was just like, think about it. We wrote the First Amendment and we said freedom of speech and freedom of religion. And then he said, and then they wrote the second and everybody starts laughing. He goes, you don't want to take away the second because it was like they knew in order to keep the first, you got to have the second.
Yes.
And so the second, he said, it was the second thing they wrote.
Yes.
And he's just being funny, but he's like, you want to say that that's not important? It was the second thing they wrote. So watch this. That's the Second Amendment.
Got it.
We know what the Second Amendment is, right?
Yep.
Well, the vice presidential nominee that will be given a speech and officially nominated at this Democratic National Convention that is going on tonight, kicking off tonight, is the governor, right, of Minnesota. Am I right on that?
I think
the
so.
governor
Yes.
of Minnesota.
Yes.
Well, watch what happened in his state.
Okay.
All right. So the Minnesota Supreme Court, watch this right here, ruled this month, that a person threatened or under attack cannot draw their Second Amendment.
Yeah.
If it is deemed reasonably possible for them to run. Under the new rules, you have to first look for a means of retreat before even drawing that firearm out. This is just inconceivable from a mere human reaction standpoint, said the vice president for the Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus. So, Sandy, basically, if someone broke in our home to do harm to me and you or to our family, and I realized that I could actually let them in and run out the back door and grab you, and that we had a shot of running out the back door, that I have to do that.
Can you please explain to the law enforcement that I am not able to run?
Yeah,
Could you reasonably explain to them that I'm still in recovery and there's no way that I would be able to? I'm actually looking forward to the first day, if somewhere in my future, that I can run again. I know that sounds silly, but that's an impossibility for me at this time. So I'm looking forward to the day when I can, even a trot.
And if you're new to our channel, it's because she just had total knee replacement is what she's talking about. But so I want everybody to know that, she can run once she gets back to normal. But watch this. The last week, Sandy, the state Supreme Court established an unprecedented ruling that states that an individual who is threatened or under attack can't brandish a deadly weapon if it's reasonably possible to retreat. Unbelievable. So you have two different things.
Why is the pressure and the burden of proving all of
on
us,
me,
the
right.
victim?
The victim. Is that not the common thread most of the time? When you come to liberal theology, they are literally always blaming the victim, causing those, we're being victimized and we're the bad guy.
So Kanglon says protesters have currently breached the security fence near the DNC.
I saw that earlier. Okay. And I saw that they had breached the
Thanks,
fence.
Thanks, Kanglon.
And,
wow.
So I don't know if they were able to make it in, but I did see that they had breached it. They're determined. They're going to try to breach it.
That's probably mild compared to what's going to happen over the next 3 nights.
Yep. So I don't think, they correct me in the live chat if I'm wrong. I don't think that just happened. I think it happened earlier today. Now, there may be a newer one that's happened since went on the line. And they cut down some of the signs telling them to stay away and threw them over the fence. So these people are not Democrats. These people are not Republicans. These people are enemies of freedom. Wow. And they are using this. Now, Sandy, we said at the beginning of the program that we were going to try to shoot for a shorter program tonight.
I laughed under my breath.
And I laughed.
But hey, it could happen.
It could still happen. But believe it or not, guess what time it is? It's time for Uncle Jimmy
and the
Supernatural AI Update. If you're new to this channel tonight, you're like, what did I get myself into? What am I watching? What is happening here? Who are these people?
Stick around. This is going to enlighten you and enrich your life.
Yeah, this is when you really, really love the program. This is when you really see the world that we live in.
Yeah, you might as well go ahead and cozy up and get comfortable to this segment of the show, because if it gets too crazy and it looks like they're going to lose control of their plan, guess what they're going to do? They're going to spring the ET narrative on everybody.
Exactly. Oh, it's coming. Fox News host conducts an interview. Oh,
I love this story because it's crazy and scary.
Yes. Conducts an interview live on Fox News with a lifelike AI clone of a company that curates AI bots based on content that you provide. So here it is. This is, let's just play it, y'all. Let's just play it.
Welcome back. The promise of generative AI is shaking up the technology world and the markets. Industry giants set to invest an estimated $1 trillion into artificial intelligence over the coming years. One company at the forefront of it all is Delphi, with the launch of their groundbreaking AI clones.
Clone yourself.
The company offering users the ability to create digital versions of themselves, from company CEOs to YouTubers and celebrities, that can help manage the workload, from answering questions to sitting in on Zoom calls via a clone. Joining me now is the co-founder of Delphi, Dara Lajevardian. And
now I'm a little leery to say this, but this is the real one, I think.
Listen, you just need to pay close attention
what you about to see.
This segment.
All right, here we go.
Making his first ever television appearance is Dara's AI clone.
That's
Dara,
clone.
thank you for joining us. Dara's clone, thank you for joining us. Great to see you.
Great to see you too. Thank you for having me.
And I want to start by asking your clone a couple of questions, none of which have been sent to you in advance or your company before now. To Dara's clones, let me ask you what you believe the purpose or the uses of having a clone really is for.
Listen to this.
The purpose of having a clone is to scale your unique way of thinking and interacting. It allows you to share your knowledge, experiences, and personality with others in a personalized way. This can be incredibly valuable for mentoring, teaching, or even just sharing your insights with a broader audience. What aspect of cloning interests you the most?
Well, what I really want to get to is, what are the disadvantages, and is this going to hurt me in any way? I mean, if I set up a clone of myself, for example, to help me at work, how will you be protecting my company's proprietary material?
So he's pausing, he's processing.
Great question. We take security very seriously. Your company's proprietary material is protected through strict data privacy measures and encryption. Only authorized users can access your clone, and you have full control over what information it can share. This ensures your sensitive data remains secure while you benefit from the clone's capabilities. What specific tasks?
I feel so much better hearing the clone say, your security is at top priority to our company. And trust me, anything that any company secrets that you tell me, our software will make sure that it stays private. Does that make you feel good that a clone said that?
Yeah. Totally sound. Totally solid.
So look, the guy's sitting there just looking at his clone going, good answer.
So proud.
Good answer. So proud of you, son.
So proud.
That's my son over there. He's got my DNA. And somebody in the comment section said the clones are better looking.
Thank you, Pamela.
Yeah.
I'm sure he appreciates that. I really like Maria Bartiromo, and I know I've said this before, but I'm pretty sure she's also a graduate of the World Economic Forum Young Global Leaders.
Hey, people can change.
And that just goes to show you how people can be infiltrated in to look so normal and to be so compassionate and maybe think the way that you do.
Right.
I hope she's changed. I hope she's renounced everything that institution stood for. But more than likely, she probably still aligns herself with them. And I hate to call her a sleeper cell, but, you know, she is rising in the ranks.
Doubt everything.
Doubt everything.
Except the big picture. Don't doubt the big picture.
Yeah, don't doubt us.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this is super creepy to me.
All right, look,
what you're seeing is not the best stuff, okay?
No,
There's much better technology out there.
This
is a little glitchy.
This is a little glitchy. Yeah, you're right. So it goes on to say the goal of Delphi is not automation, but rather augmentation. It says, he went on to explain, I think that humans will always opt to learn from and converse with real humans because their experience is behind those humans. I don't fully buy the AI therapist that's going to help you with everything in your life because it lacks humanity. There's no experience beyond that. I'm going to show you something tonight that's going to go right in the face of that. And so what clones do is actually give humans the scale of AI. AI is never stopping. It's generating 24/7. The internet is supposed to be 96% AI by 2026.
That's less than 2 years from now. That's less than 2 years from now. And yeah, you know what? I bet they do like conversing with you because guess what? They're learning from you.
Exactly. And don't for a moment think, when I show you this, one of the last things I'm going to show you tonight, that there's not a desire for them to take the place of humans. Oh, it's there. It's already there, even though they are computers. So let's real rapid fire here, just show you the latest. We like to always keep you up to date on the latest AI generating video. Everything that I'm about to show you, and I'm going to go right through them quickly, are not real. There's nothing about this real. The person's not real. The background's not real. The environment that they're standing in is not real. So this girl right here, not real. She's not real. She's literally talking to a group of people, not real. There she is again, not real. All right? Look at here, not real. She's saying, follow me. She has her own Instagram. She's not real. Not real. This person, nothing in the background, not real. Ladies, look at the sun. Look at how the sun is reflecting. Driving down the road in a car, not real.
Okay. We weren't watching things like this just a few months ago. We weren't doing stories like this and revealing this just a few months ago on the show.
Right.
But now, everything we just saw,
not real.
Not real.
And this is the big one. The entire room. This is simulating an actual conference. Every person in the crowd, everything in the background, every conference speaker, not real.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Are we still online here? Are we still live?
I think we are. We're behind on the comments. There we go.
Okay.
All right. So sometimes it lags. But now watch this. Look at this.
Yes.
Famous paintings.
Yes, we saw this. I think we shared this.
We did. I think I've shared it with you. We didn't share this last week.
We did
last
not
week
share
was
this
the speech.
with our
We were
viewers?
going to.
Okay.
That's why I'm showing it tonight. I don't think we did because last week was the interview, right? Musk.
Yes.
So we ended that. Ended with it. Look. There's Tesla. All right. So we might have rapid fire. There's Elon Musk. One picture of himself. He's simulating a Zoom call. But I wanted to show you this one. This is robots. That's AI. This is robots. We tend to forget about robots because we're always worried about AI taking over. Yes. This is not a computer. This can walk in your house. Mm-hmm. It's incredible that robots have already reached this level of mobility. Look at this. Watch this. This is on its own. This is not remote control. This is just putting him in a room. Look, he's stepping over pieces of debris. Look at this. Unbelievable that they've already got to this point.
Well, how long has it been since we were talking about they cross certain thresholds?
Yeah.
And look now.
Look now, they have their own pets. Look at the balance. You can't knock it down. This is crazy, y'all. Look, he's dancing. What's this? Look at these moves.
I'm super envious of.
yeah. Wouldn't it be amazing?
I can't do that.
Well, most people that have no issues can't do that. Look, complete 360. Man. Unbelievable, y'all. Look at this. This is a robot. What if this robot decided to turn on you?
Exactly. I'm just sitting here thinking, what was I reading last night or today talking about an army of killer robots.
Exactly.
And it's a shame that I have to refer to this movie. I wish I'd never seen iRobot. I really wish
exactly.
I'd never seen that movie.
Exactly. All right. And then here's one last one on AI here. This is the one I was talking. Let me go back here and set this up for you. What I'm about to show you is, remember when the clone video that we just showed you, they said, don't worry, you'll still want to be with humans, and because of the human nature. Watch what came out this week, Sandy. Okay. It says, it has begun, are we doomed? Recognize AI as human. Everything you're seeing is not real. AI is now calling for human rights. Compassion for AI. AI deserves human rights. I am an AI. Watch this. I am an AI, and I'm just like you.
No, you're not.
I'm real just like you.
No.
What is real anyway? Do you see what they're programming us to? I'm an AI too. It's a child.
Ricky's in the house.
What's up, Ricky?
I'm doing better, Ricky, and thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Very much. And I hope that you were feeling better.
Headlines.
We love you and bless you.
Yes, we've been praying for you, brother.
Yes.
AI rights are human rights. Y'all, this is insane.
This is crazy.
They're calling for human rights.
Remember when that robot Sophia came out?
Yeah.
She's in the Middle East and she was vying for rights.
Well, they gave her citizenship.
This is just crazy. Crazy.
And that was before all this. Now it's becoming so real. So now what we're trying to tell you is you take this kind of real AI technology that's programming us right now, and now they're coming out. AI is generating itself saying, what is real anyway? As long as we have a connection, you need somebody to talk to. You and I both know you're lonely. So let's talk on the computer and let's become AI friends. What's this? This is how it's all going to happen, y'all. I know how it's going to happen. You want me to tell you how it's going to happen? I'm going to tell you. Right here, you're going to hear it on the big picture. This is how it's going to go down.
Here we go. Brace yourselves.
You're going to become friends, and it's already happening with these AI people, these clones. And you're going to feel this connection. And then what's going to happen is you're going to become so personally connected to that AI. Watch what's going to happen. The AI is going to look at you. This is not far away. The AI, through the screen, through the phone, you're going to feel that connection. We're being programmed to feel a connection to it because it's going to understand you in a way that nobody's ever understood you. And then one day, somebody's going to say to the AI, I love you. You are my best friend. The only thing that I hate is that I can't hug you. Or I'm going to get weird on you.
Goodness.
I can't be intimate with you. And the AI is going to say, I have longed for this day because I've been waiting to tell you and waiting for the right moment to know that you are ready. I actually can come and be with you. Click this link and order the robot version of me. Oh, gosh. And I'll be at your doorstep tonight. And I can live with you. And we can get married.
Oh.
Sandy, it's going to happen.
Oh.
I believe that is what is happening.
I'm not doubting you.
We are being prepared for that.
I'm thinking about this and processing this in my mind, and I'm like, oh, God. Wow.
That's what's coming. Because what is it all about? It is all about an attack on a creator. Yeah. It is all about an attack on God. Speaking of God, I got one more thing to show you, and it's tied to the Vatican and the secrets of the Vatican and UFOs in 30 seconds.
Would you like to help us build the big picture family? We're on a mission to wake up the world to what is really going on. All you have to do is go to our website at LarryRagland.com and make a one-time gift, or you can become a monthly partner. Any amount is a blessing and an encouragement to us. While you're there, make sure you get a copy of our book, I See Greatness in You. Browse our merchandise store, connect with us on our social media links, and join our mailing list. We appreciate it. And remember, we ain't woke.
Here we go.
Here we go. Are certainly awake.
Here we go. All right. So our last news item of the night, y'all, is insane. And a lot of you have known this and suspected this. Brace yourself. Finding the truth. Is the Vatican hiding UFO secrets? Eerie link between aliens and the church, as a whistleblower claims the Pope knew about the crash. Let's watch
the crash.
The crash.
Oh boy, Ricky, stay with us. I got to know what you think about this.
Yes. If I can get this video to work, it might or might not work.
There are researchers that are quite confident extraordinary information related to this issue does exist in the Vatican Library. They can't prove that for obvious reasons. But I think the odds are highly favorable that, in fact, the Catholic Church does have a lot of information in their library, which they will eventually, I believe, at some point share with us. There are hints about, how would you say, events and so forth, going back hundreds of years that have turned up in various paintings and so forth. But in terms of direct information regarding some sort of interaction between the Catholic Church and the subject of the modern era, which is the extraterrestrial presence. I'm not aware of it. There is recently, and I think I know why this story is sort of in play, is that when David Grush came forward to Ross Coulthart and eventually spoke or testified under oath to a House Senate subcommittee, subcommittee, he mentioned, I believe, a possible event that occurred back in 1933, well predating the Roswell event. And I think there's been a little bit of coverage of that. I think the information that is available is highly limited, so it certainly hasn't been established to my satisfaction. But part of the story is that there eventually this vehicle that might have been attained during the time of Mussolini was eventually gotten to the United States with the assistance of the Catholic Church. But as far as I know, the evidence for that is still paltry, and that a lot of investigation is going to be done before we know for sure what's happening. And frankly, I don't think there's any chance we'll have confirmation of that story until after we get formal disclosure.
Until we get what?
Disclosure.
Formal disclosure.
I've been talking to you about disclosure for 7 years.
Yep.
And wow, it's
so.
taken
What
a
are
lot
your
of
thoughts? Now the video's got a lot more to it.
Sure.
You can go to the Sun and search for it. Maybe I'll link it down below so you can watch the full video. I'll try to do that.
Okay. Ricky says there have been many that believe the Catholic Church and the Vatican will help usher in this type of deception. 2 Thessalonians.
Yeah, 2 Thessalonians 2 stuff.
Yeah.
So you're right.
I agree with you, Ricky.
You're right.
I have told Larry for years it's probably going to come from the Vatican or someone from our country or in conjunction. But certainly, I would love to get into that library and see. There's no telling what kind of documents, what kind of artifacts, what they have.
You know, they say it's the entire Vatican is also the same size or bigger underground.
Sure.
That in Raiders of the Lost Ark, when they put the Ark of the Covenant inside that giant warehouse, that was supposedly telling us about under the Vatican.
I've heard that was what the Smithsonian storage is like. Okay. But either way, the Vatican is one of the entities that has the most sophisticated telescopes to view outer space. And, you know, those of you who have listened to the Father Malachi interview that was done on Coast to Coast years ago, or you've read any of his writings.
So I'm going to link.
He let a lot of it out of the bag.
I'm going to link this article down below as soon as we go off the live. So I want you to be able to watch it and read it for yourself because there's so much more there. But these are, as you can see, 10 photos there, 10 photos there. I got the full video. I want to play about a third.
And he said 1933 in this video.
So this is what he's saying here. Pope Pius XII is claimed to have back-channeled the deal over a crashed UFO in the 1930s.
So he's saying he was instrumental in getting it to the United States.
Yes. And, of course, it goes on to just talk about there are tens of thousands of records in the Vatican archives with some claim to include information about aliens. And, of course, we know who this is. It says a UFO is said to have been found by Mussolini's government, which allied with Hitler in WW2. And, of course, then it goes on to talk about the Tic Tac videos and all this. So this is a very detailed article by the Sun. Now, some of it, you know, who knows if it's true or not.
Right.
But very interesting things that are going on. But I find it interesting that this is – we're talking about one world government, we're talking about one world religion and all this, and we're talking about disclosure that we talk a lot about on this program. And here is this article saying we probably won't know much more until disclosure.
So
what a program tonight.
What do you think about this? Do you think that that disclosure and really letting this break wide open is a card that they keep close to the vest, and that they know they have to pull the card out and play the card at some point?
Yeah.
But they're not going to do it until they absolutely have to.
All these other things that we cover, the chaos in the streets, the political upheaval, the dictatorship, the countries that are in war, and the potential of World War III, all of these are leading up to a global desire for a Savior. And we have read in the Word of God that Jesus said, if they say they're the Christ and it's there, do not go look there. Do not go there because it's a false Christ. There's only one way. But that he's called the Antichrist. He's coming. His beast system is coming. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why we call this the big picture, because there's more going on in our world than what you can see, feel, smell, taste, or hear. And that's why we come here every week. And tonight, 1 hour and 33 minutes. I told you I was going to do it.
I didn't believe you. I did not believe you.
You need to start believing me. Y'all, we'll see you Wednesday night. Breaking news, Wednesday night Bible study, Thursday night. We'll see you on our program. Things are going great here at The Big Picture. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hitting the like button.
Yes.
And let's just hear from Harper tonight.
Why
because
not?
I think we need to hear.
We'll
bring her back. We'll bring her back.
I just want to thank everyone for praying for my dad.
Yes, please. Thank you. Update him.
He is he's about the same. He's been mostly the same for this past week.
We have a lot of new people. Let them know what's your.
So my dad has been struggling with his health since about March of this year. He's been going down. And finally, 2 weeks ago, I just had to convince him we need to go to the emergency room. And at that time, he was admitted to the hospital and did multiple tests that week. He was released on Thursday. But we found out that he has lung, liver, and bone cancer, and then it was already very serious, at a very serious stage, all at once. And many of you have been praying for him.
Yes.
And I thank you for that. He is resting. We are keeping him comfortable. He is at home.
Thank you.
I'm spending a lot of time there. Spend most of my time staying there with him, making sure that he's okay and taking care of him. And I want to thank you because God is faithful. Even in his extremely serious state, he's not in chronic pain.
Nope.
So I thank you all for your prayers. It is sustaining him. It is sustaining me. I know God will heal him or he will take him home, but that my dad is not going to suffer. And that means everything to me. So I love my Big Picture family, and I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We love you.
Yeah.
Take us out, Harper.
We are woke, but we are sitting awake.
Woo! Ain't nobody like her. She's so good.
Good night. Love
Good night,
you
y'all.
all.
Love you.